everybody, I'm Merisusheep and thank you so much for checking out this video, and this time I got a script because today I've got a very special video where I'm going to showcase all of my main protagonists from my original main series. I'm going to introduce each one of them while giving you a brief summary of their stories. My main point in doing this is I mention my main characters a lot, and I figured it would be good to have one place I could always point to that has everything in it. Also, if I ever do become more of an official creator, these might serve as a good introduction in case I plan on doing anything like a Kickstarter, which is why I have a script, because without this, it's gonna be a huge mess. I got a few of them, so let's get started. Also, all my stories take place in the fictional island of Light Islands, which is off the east coast of America, just a bit above New York. It is an independent nation that consists of 3 main islands: Light City, Eclipse Bay, and Ravenport. Yes, those are the names. I came up with this when I was a kid and was my brother. It was the way we could get around the fact that we didn't really know much about the world back then, since we were just kids, and also so we could make our own laws and rules and not having to worry about us not knowing stuff. And after that, it just kind of became a running gag. Despite all my series taking place on this island, they do not take place in the same universe world, if that makes sense. They're all in like different dimensions, so I guess it's kind of like a multiverse, but not really, if that makes sense. Anyway, enough of all that, let's get started! Starting with my eldest girl, both literally and figuratively, and that is the lovely Anastasia Vale. Nicknamed Fly, hero named Black Fox. She is one of the main protagonists of me and my brother's comic book series that we are working on together called Protectors, which is also the name of the team she serves on and leads. The Protectors are a group of vigilante superheroes who protect the Light Islands, mainly focusing on Light City. She was born under the name Anastasia Vale, and she's the only daughter and second child to one of the richest men in the world, Henry Vale, and the heiress of a wealthy merchant from India, Palak Deve Vale. When Anastasia Vale was 5 years old, her mother inadvertently struck a woman and her daughter when drunk driving with a young Anastasia in the front seat. The crash killed the daughter and left the mother with lifelong injuries to her spine. Despite the accident clearly being a result of her mother's own recklessness, she had it pinned on her faithful driver, which he was arrested for and sent to prison. The result of this incident left Anastasia shocked, but also furious that her mother got away with such a shameful crime. When she asked if it was right, her mother told her it was because she had power. One day, when she noticed her father doing business with one of his less than reputable business partners, although she did not understand the exact details due to her young age, she could tell something was not right. When she asked her father if what he was doing was right, he told her it was because he had power. When she asked if he could just simply stop, he said he couldn't because those he did business with had more power than he did. When she tried to talk to her older brother, Henry Vale Jr., about this, he simply gave her his comic book collection to get her out of his hair. She ended up falling in love with the superheroes within those stories. She also realized within those comic books, people like her mother, her father, and her father's business partners were not the most powerful in the world. The heroes were, and they stopped people like her parents all the time. Fly knew that the Light Islands had its own heroes, and one day they might even stop her father, so she made up her mind to remind him of this, and that one day they would be able to catch him. When he said that they couldn't, and that they were just simply ignorant superheroes, she then said she would be a superhero, and that one day she would be strong enough to not only stop him, but able to save him from the powerful people that threatened him. He first laughed at this, but when she cried, he just smiled and said if she really wanted to be a hero, then she should go for it. But if she was going to go for it, then she couldn't go halfway. She had to go all out and give it her all. He then left her with something, a shot, which he gave her, which was a serum of some sort. Although it did nothing at the time, he told her that one day it would be able to help her in her task of being a hero. That is, if she was truly serious about this. After that, Anastasia was determined to become a hero somehow. Although being just a childish 7-year-old girl, she had absolutely no idea how to pursue this goal. Even so, she tried her best and trained in her own way to become a hero. However, one day, this training ended in tragedy when she accidentally caused a fire during her brother's 13th birthday party. A fire that resulted in the death of almost her entire family, including her parents and her brother. Anastasia herself would have died, but she was saved by the heroes of the Light Islands, the first Protectors. After this, Anastasia was taken in by her aunt and uncle on her father's side. Much to her surprise, though, she soon discovered that her aunt and uncle were two of the members of the Protectors. She then asked them to train her. At first, they denied this request, but after seeing her resolve, her uncle, Dave Topper, who was specifically the hero who saved her that night, Mr. Lucky, finally agreed to train her. After a short while into her training, though, much to her annoyance, she was joined by her cousins, Rex and John, who were the sons from her ever aunt. And so, it became a race between the three of them to see which one could be the greatest hero of them all. When she was 13 years old, she started going by the nickname Fly, and she made her official debut as a hero known as the Black Coyote. However, her first mission went horrible. Due to her not having powers, her being a girl, and so young, she was beaten up quite easily by some mere petty criminals. What was worse, an innocent police officer died when trying to protect her. Once again, she only survived due to her uncle saving her at the last minute. What with overwhelming guilt and a greatly injured body, the whole ordeal traumatized Fly, and she was angered by the fact of how weak she was, not wanting to give up, but knowing she could never be the hero she wanted to be if she was like this. It was here in this moment of despair that she remembered what her father said and what he left her, which was in fact a powerful experimental serum which would give her amazing powers if she took the second part, which was the activator. Despite the risk of death in taking this, she took the activator without a second thought. After this, she reinvented her hero alias as the Black Fox and remade her debut at the age of 16 after 3 years of intense training with her new powers. Now she is 21 and the leader of the new Protectors, with the old members all having since retired, died, or disappeared. The new team consists of her as the team leader, like mentioned, her cousin Rex as the second in command as the Black Falcon, her ever cousin and Rex's younger brother John as the hero Silverblade, Dawn Shadows, an alien princess from another dimension who goes by the codename Twilight, her foster brother who took on the mantle of his deceased father and previous member of the old Protectors, Joseph Topper, aka The Range, Najika, the daughter of one of the previous members of the old Protectors as well, Rojin Kaijin, and Thomas Ali and Crystal Kaiser, who goes by the codename Madame Mars, the latter two who joined the team after meeting them both separately on different missions. Another member of the team is Salt. He was once a human but was experimented on when he was younger and now can no longer remember his name and is permanently stuck in the shape of a fox-like creature. He can transform into a bigger wolf-like beast that is 7 meters if desired. He can also shapeshift into a weapon which can be used by the Black Fox. In weapon form, he can go back and forth between being a whip, an arami, or lasso. In addition to Salt, the Black Fox also uses a collapsible sword, a specially modified shotgun equipped with a bayonet that can shoot various types of projectiles, from real bullets to capture nets, throwing knives, and grappling hooks. With these weapons, the Black Fox, along with the Protectors, do as their namesake and protect the Light Islands from anything that might threaten their home. Despite Fly's reputation of being a wild woman who does not take anything very seriously, and the fact that she is probably not the best suited for being the team leader, she is still one of the most passionate about being a hero, wanting nothing more than to be the hero she told her father she would be one day. A hero who is powerful enough to stop evil people like her mother and save people like her father. Next up, we have another series taking place in an alternate version of the Light Islands that is my fantasy adventure known as Tales of Howloze. My second oldest series, technically, but back then it was under the name Monogatari no Howloze, only I completely scratched it as it sucked. And the main female heroine was a Merisu, and the plot was edgy as all get out. So now I'm in the process of rebranding it and rewriting it, and doing it all between all the other crap that I'm doing. So, fun! So far, this is what I got. Because it's not much, I'm mostly going to talk about the two main characters, starting with the one who is not present in the current illustration you see me working on in this drawing, and that is Yuya Kashiki. Well, his original name was supposed to be Kashiki, but I forgot the meaning of that, so I changed it to Kasuke, which had something to do with world... Oh wait, no, not Kasuke. Kaseke? I don't know. I couldn't remember what the meaning of that was either, and I couldn't pronounce it very well, and I just kept on writing Kashiki, so I guess I'm sticking with that unless I change it again. If I do, I'll let people know. Anyway, enough of the names. Yuya Kashiki is a young man of 16 years of age who is obsessed with Howloze battling spirits. HBS, as it is oftenly shortened to, was at first just a card game, but then it got turned into an extensive AR game where people fight each other with real weapons and summon creatures with their cards for the game's system watch, which is generated by a highly advanced AR system. Despite being very passionate for the game, Yuya is not very good and was never able to defeat anyone of real importance. All this changes though when he falls into a cave and finds a sleeping young maiden in a hidden area of it. The maiden, dressed in black, had a brooch on her gown, which was the same crest on Yuya's scarf, which he got from a legendary warrior who saved their home from a strange creature 12 years ago. This incident is what inspired HBS's creator, Michael J.T. Fadius, to create the game. Believing the black-haired maiden might have a connection to the warrior, he brings her back to his home. When she does finally awaken, she is surprised by her new environment and attacks Yuya and his older brother Asta, all while revealing that she has incredible strength. In addition to that, she also seems to have light powers where she can make light solid and use it to create constructs out of. She can also pull out a weapon out of thin air, and she uses this to force them to tell her the truth. When she finally does get the truth out of them and they finally get her to calm down, Yuya discovers that the girl has no memory, not even being able to recall her own name. The girl refuses to go to the hospital and get any help from the police for unknown reasons. Wanting to know more about the girl, and if she has connections to the legendary warrior of the past, Yuya offers her a place to stay at his house, much to his older brother's protest, as their parents would not approve of it. To which Yuya simply states that he will just keep it a secret from them. Yuya then makes a deal with this girl in exchange for her teaching him how to fight, like she does, and also allowing him to use her weapon in his HBS tournament. He will help her find out her past and where she came from. Despite knowing that Yuya probably has no clue in how to grant this, the girl agrees. Since she was unable to remember her name, he calls her Schwarzweiß, due to her black hair and pale skin. As time goes on, Schwarzweiß meets and befriends Yuya's friends, rivals, and family members and becomes close to all of them. They also run into several encounters with strange monsters that appear to be after Schwartz. In addition to that, there's a girl who looks nearly identical to her, only with white hair and red eyes, walking around that seems to be connected to her. Later on, Schwartz discovers her real name is Kaila Lacitieyen, and it is up to her and Yuya to discover the rest of the truth about her past, all while helping him become the best Howloze battler. So yeah, that is the plot, or what I got. I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope someday to bring it to you, because I am very much in love with the two main characters. As for Yuya, he is very much a typical shonen protagonist, and no, he's not named after Yuya Sakaki from Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V. I actually named him before that series came out. His name comes from a side character whose name was Yuya. I can't remember his last name, but he was a very small side character. I picked that name because it does have the U in it, and he is a reference to all the Yu-Gi-Oh! Protagonists that came before Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc V, in particularly Yuma Sukuma. He's very high energy, very passionate, kind of dumb in some areas, but has a very big heart. As for Kaila, she often tries to act prim and proper, often using big words she doesn't always understand the meaning of to sound more sophisticated, but it just kind of makes her come off silly. Around Yuya, she can be more outgoing, demanding, and even a bit quick-tempered, but around Ever, she is a little bit more shy and socially awkward, unaware of how to interact. She is very intelligent though in some areas, having a brain that can be very intellectual and can catch on quickly, but she is also very naive about everything, although a big part of this is due to her memory loss. She is still very curious, always willing to learn, and has a great interest in just discovering new things. But above all that, she is fiercely loyal to those she loves and is absolutely absolutely in love with the idea of being a part of a family, which is why she's so desperate to remember her past. And with Yuya by her side, they are both determined to figure out who Kaila's family really is, and as well unravel the mystery behind Kaila's white-haired lookalike, who also seems to be the cause of all this chaos happening on their small island home of Raven's Port. Joining them also is Yuya's friends Mina Flowers, Reggie Castle, Edward Himmel, Sky Gates, Reggie's younger twin sister, Mari Castle, Alex Guerrero, his half-brother, Daniel Cena, Matt Lee, Iris Lindbrook, and Yuya's older brother Asta and his younger sister Momo. But as their journey progresses, they soon discover that this whole event might be bigger than Kaila and her white-haired lookalike. They also discover that Howloze, the world that their game takes place in, might in fact be a real world. Next up, we have another series, which is my third eldest, and the one that I'm also very happy with, and that is my slice of life romance Blue Song. Out of all my stories, this is the one that I have the most thought through, and it is the one that I got the most written about. The only reason why I haven't worked on this one first, even though it would probably be easier, because it is a slice of life, so there isn't many things to actually make like action scenes and monsters and stuff like that, is because it still needs a little bit of ironing out, and I also feel the most confident about it, and I want to do it right. So I figured I should get some experience working on stories, mangas, comics, whatever you want to call these things, before I actually attempt to do so, because okay, the story isn't anything that unique or anything that special really, but I do feel like it's the most solid. The story stars 15-year-old Azura Shiraboshi, who is a girl who dreams about becoming a famous pop singer. However, her father desires her to become the head of his shipping company when he retires, whereas her mother wants her to become a world-famous violinist. Neither of those ideas interest Azura at all. The only ones who believe that she can accomplish her dream is her cousin Ryo, Soryu, and a friend of the family's, Akira Koyuki. However, tragedy strikes when her cousin Ryo dies in a boating accident. Using this as a sign, Azura then decides to finally set forth on her dream of becoming a pop star. The idea of her being a pop star, though, just makes her parents laugh at her. Even so, they make a deal with her, saying that if she can become one, then they will give her their full support. However, until she becomes a pop star, they will not be giving her any of their support at all, saying that she has to do it on her own without their help. Thinking that she would just give up and quit after 3 hours when she realizes how hard it is, they let her leave the house. But to their surprise, she ends up pushing her way into the house of Akira Koyuki. Akira lives with his father in their house, which is also connected to their family-owned restaurant. Akira's brother, Kaito, used to work for Azura's father, and that is how the two of them met. However, he died a few years ago. After this, Akira continued to hang around Azura's house, though, because he became friends with her, and it was because of this friendship he was no match for saying no to her when she requested to stay with him. And so, Azura begins living with Akira and his father, helping at their family-owned restaurant, all while trying to become a pop star. Letting nothing stand in her way, she continues to run towards her dream. The only thing that actually might stop her is the fact that she can't deny that she has a crush on Akira. Unknown to her, though, he has one on her as well. He would never admit it, though, as he refuses to stand in the way of her dream, and he knows that his ideal life is completely different than the life that she dreams of. Unknown to him, though, she would probably give it all up in a heartbeat if she knew that he truly loved her the same way she loves him. Azura Shiraboshi is a bright, perky, high-energy girl filled with boundless passion and ambition and confidence in her abilities. She has a voice as amazing as an angel. She can be a bit spoiled and even selfish at times, but even so, she has great compassion for all, having a sweet heart that is said to win over anyone. All this is in complete contrast to Akira. Although he is just as kind and hardworking as she is, he's also a lot more quieter when compared to Azura. He also has a bit of a temper, and it can be set off pretty easily. And when he's not losing his temper, he can have his moments where he's fairly awkward and insecure of himself. His ideal way of living is forever staying on the peaceful countryside of Eclipse Bay, enjoying a nice, quiet, simple, boring, yet peaceful life with those he loves, which is one of the reasons why he does not confess to Azura, as he is well aware that she enjoys a busy city life filled with lights, cameras, large crowds of adoring fans, all while performing on stage in front of thousands of people. Even so, he cannot shake the fact that he loves her, and the idea of her leaving him terrifies him. and the chance that she might end up with someone else scares him even more. If only he realized that she only has eyes for him. But they're both kind of dumb, as in most romances. But yeah, that's pretty much the plot of Blue Song. There's a lot more to it, and I'm not going to talk about it because, like I said, I actually want to make this series one day, and I hope that people will enjoy discovering the story as it unfolds and whatnot. Funny enough, both Blue Song and the before-mentioned Tales of Howloze, which used to be Monogatari no Howloze, were both fan fictions originally, and it's kind of funny but also embarrassing. Tales of Howloze used to be fan fiction of Yuki's Exile, I'm not gonna lie, and even when reading it out loud, I cannot deny that there are some similar elements in it. I'm not gonna hide the fact, the biggest being Duel Monsters was turned into Hall's Battling Spirit, or Hall's Battling Game. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. But the point is, the game still exists, and although it does not function at all like Duel Monsters anymore, mainly because I was too dumb to create my own extensive TCG, and also because I didn't really want to stay limited to the game structure completely throughout the entire series, the fact still remains. There is a game within my story, and it is very prevalent within the series. And the way that dueling is affecting the world of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very similar to how Hall's Battling Spirit affects the world of Tales of Howloze. Meanwhile, the same cannot be said at all about Blue Song, as it originally came from not Honeyworks fanfiction, but Cardfight Vanguard fanfiction. Azura was supposed to be a card fighter slash pop idol, similar to Ultra Rare or Sayu from Cardfight Vanguard G. In fact, her design was inspired off of Rekka from Ultra Rare and Sayu. I had her entire story all planned out. The beginning actually was kind of similar to the one that I have here. Azura wanting to do something and her parents saying no, her cousin dying, and then that and pushing her forward to actually go out and do it. But that's pretty much where it ends, because I ended up liking Azura's design a lot, and I really wanted to create my own original story for it. So, like Tales of Howloze, I decided to make it my own original stories. But unlike Tales of Howloze, there is no trace of a game in sight at all. Azura isn't even really the type to play card games. Also, Akira was created for the sole purpose of being her boyfriend, but without him, her world would not exist, as it was through his creation that I pretty much thought of the entire idea of Blue Song pretty much all in one night after a weird dream. I mean, yeah, I added a lot of details to it, but the main premise all came from his creation, all in one night. So the fact is, there would be no Akira without Azura, but there would be no Blue Song, which is Azura's world, without Akira. And I actually really do like that. It's really sweet. Moving on, the next series of mine doesn't come from any fanfiction at all, and that is my mystery series, and that is called The Fabulous Mysterious Adventures of Sisters Brandy and Champagne. I want to shorten the name, but that is the name for now. Brandy Glass is a young girl of 12 who lives with her mother, Jolene, her uncle Dan, and her cousin Jude in Chicago, Illinois. She loves art, anime, superheroes, mystery shows, and novels, and her life is pretty good, but it is upended when her cousin and best friend Jude dies mysteriously on the Light Islands. When her uncle goes to figure out what happened to his son, he ends up dying under mysterious circumstances as well. Brandy vows to one day discover what happened to her cousin and uncle that caused them to pass away so mysteriously, and she promises one day she will go to the Light Islands and figure it out. 2 years passed, and Brandy is now 14 and not any closer to finding out who is behind the death of her family members. But she isn't able to really give it the same amount of focus that she once was, because she now has a new issue at hand, and that is that her mother has begun dating again, a man named Max Welton, who also has a daughter who is 1 year older than Brandy and who is, funny enough, named Champagne.
Max Welton and Champagne Bottle, to be precise.
Brandy did not mind the idea of her mother dating again. She didn't even mind the fact that he already had a daughter. What she did mind, though, was finding out that this man was, in fact, her real father, and Champagne was her biological sister, despite the obvious differences in their appearance. Brandy's mother tells her that they were in love and together for a while back in high school, but shortly after Brandy was born, they were forced to split up due to their families. To make things easier, they agreed to do so, and so the father, Max Welton, ended up taking Champagne, and Jolene ended up taking Brandy. Although both still loved each other very much and did not want to split up, they never were able to get back together, and they thought it might be easier if they didn't. But after re-meeting each other, they realized how much they still loved each other, and so the two marry. Shortly after their marriage, they all moved to the Light Islands where Champagne and her father originally lived. Now Brandy is living in a whole new life, completely different country with a new father and an annoying sister who's very insistent on being her sister. Where Champagne is more shy, awkward, introvert, who is slightly antisocial and a bit overdramatic, Champagne is outgoing, popular, extroverted, who is a bit of an airhead, who loves doing fun activities. While Brandy enjoys watching cartoons and anime alone while reading comic books, Champagne loves 1950s swing dancing, classic old films from the 60s on back, and taking part in group events. The only thing the two girls have in common is their love for mysteries, and after they end up solving a mystery in their town, they decide to start a mystery solving club along with 3 other boys that they know: Culpeppers, their next door neighbor, Champagne's dance partner Jackson Pollock Brewis, and Matt Haven, their ever next door neighbor. While Brandy's goal is to discover who killed her beloved cousin and uncle, Champagne simply tags along because she thinks it will be fun. But more than that, she wants to get close to Brandy and prove to her that she is a worthy big sister. Over time, the two learn to become friends, despite their differences, and in time, they even learn to become sisters, although Brandy still says the biggest mystery to her is her sister Champagne. I changed up the girls' designs a bit, giving them both new outfits. Brandy's old outfit was a bit too not cute enough, despite being different from Champagne. Brandy is still very cute and girly, and I wanted to show that off. And as for Champagne, I mainly made her new outfit more casual because her ever outfit was a little bit too fancy. This one is now akin to casual 1950s wear. Also, it now has free colors in it, like Brandy's. I also swapped the girls' eye colors. Originally, Brandy had brown eyes and Champagne had blue eyes, but I thought it would look more fun if I did it the opposite way around. It would also give them a connection to their ever parent outside of their personalities, because yeah, Champagne is a lot more like her mother Jolene despite not living with her, as both women are more extroverted and very passionate, like bold passionate. Whereas Brandy has a lot more in common with her father, Max Welton, as both rather be at home having personal time. They are passionate, but not as bold as their r.to in their family. But despite the differences, the girls learn to become sisters and solve mysteries, and that's pretty much the plot. And finally, we have the last series, which I'm currently working on right now as I speak, and that is Revolution in Full Color, which takes place in an alternate version of the Light Islands, where the year is 2038. The entire Light Island nation is now under a much more strict authoritarian rule. All this came about in 2020 when almost all of their island's children born in or after the year 2012 began manifesting powers. As time passed, these powers only grew greater. In 2025, it's this year! This was supposed to be the future, and now it's the present. A young boy under the codename Novus made his debut as the first official superhero, and with him, many other superhero children followed. But all this changed when a devastating event happened with Novus losing control of his powers and accidentally killing over hundreds of people. Now the Light Islands is controlled heavily by Sunshine Labs, who helped dictate the policies for the nation, as it was one of their head scientists, Dr. Zilu, who came up with the drug that helped keep the children in check with their superpowers. Even though the Light Islands is still under the rule of a president, everyone knows the true leader of the nation is Dr. Lu, which led to the nickname the Evil Queen. Now, for those who obey Sunshine and the government, the Light Islands is a paradise, having superpowered heroes, advanced technology, and fun entertainment. The people are controlled through peace, and offer the lie that they will get anything they want provided they simply obey those who are in charge. However, for those who do not wish to obey, they will face the full wrath of the nation and be squashed by the heroes. Despite this very real threat, there are groups that still rise to resist the controlling power of the government. One of these groups that is growing in strength with each day is Lightbringer, with their new faction known as Nightlight, or so it has been rumored. However, as for Misato Yushoku, she does not wish to have any part in this revolution, having no desire to be crushed by the boot of the government, but no will to fight against it either. Misato wishes to live how she wants, doing what she wants, when she wants, and no one will control her. Not Nightlight, not Lightbringer, not the government, not Sunshine. To live in this manner of freedom, which she has so become accustomed to, she goes back and forth between different personas that she's created, those being the tech feline thief, Kuroneku, the faceless illegal radio host, Live Color, or the mild-mannered good citizen art student, Fan Lu Mao, swapping back and forth to whichever one she pleases, changing to whichever one is most suited for the current situation. Also, in addition to these personas, Misato is helped by the fact that she has several partners, the first being an erotic recluse who aids her in her entirety of technical support for both Kuroneku and Live Color, who goes by the codename XR. A disgraced doctor who now works in an underground clinic known as Dr. Marlone, although he is less of an equal partner and more of just a casual cohort. And finally, but not least, her beloved faithful cat Sumi. Together, they all aid each other in their self-serving life. Despite them working together, though, they are simply each in it for themselves, only working together to aid in their own survival, as this is their one and only goal. Everything changes, though, when Misato ends up having an encounter with the young man who goes by the codename Go. He is the leader of the faction of Lightbringer Nightlight. This encounter ends up making her accidentally end up at their hideout, where she meets the rest of the team, second-in-command Casimir, V, Switch, Lemon, Leviathan, and Viper. She escapes from their hideout, but from that moment on, she keeps running into them, and through these encounters, she becomes slowly infatuated with them and befriends them. And she starts to realize that she might even be falling in love with their leader, Go, as she believes he might fill the void she's always had in her heart, desiring for it to be filled with someone who loves her. However, after a talk with XR, she realizes to win a good person, she herself must be a good person. And so, Misato is then determined to work her way into becoming a better person, so she can win him over. But over time, she realizes that she will soon have to choose between her safe, self-serving life or take a chance at winning true love and being a better person at the risk of her current life. It also doesn't help the fact that Nightlight's goal of overthrowing the government to make this world a better place for everyone is complete contrast to Misato's goal of just doing nothing and living for herself. But even so, she is determined to try, at least. And yeah, that's it. That's all my series. I hope you enjoyed. Boy, was this took a lot longer to work on than I thought, but hopefully I get it all out in a reasonable time, and I hope you enjoyed. And if you do all the YouTube things. If not, then thanks for watching this far anyway. I will be back with another video real soon. I'm going to be releasing the first 2 chapters again of Revolution Full Color. This time they'll have improved grammar and better art. Well, fixed art, whatever, I don't know. It won't be better. It will be something, but it will be coming out shortly after this. And then I'm going to be working on Chapter 2 of Revolution Full Color. So the chapters that will be coming out next are Chapter 0 and Chapter 1, and then I'm going to work on Chapter 2, and I don't know when that will come out. And sometime we'll also be still doing speed paints. I want to keep on doing speed paints as long as I can, but I also want to try to work on these stories, and I really want to release them because I'm pretty proud of them, and I really want to become a storyteller. So I hope you like. Until then, bye!